And I'm back, and what I'm going to show you here today is how to change the anode in your electric hot water tank. This is what it looks like. There's a new one here. It's just a rod of either aluminum or magnesium, and basically what it is, it acts as a sacrificial anode so that this takes the corrosion that happens inside the tank instead of the tank itself. For anybody who's familiar with boats and zinc anodes and whatnot that they put on boats, outboard motors, things like that, it's the same function. In this case, the aluminum is less noble than the steel in the tank, okay? So the corrosion will always occur on the less noble element. So you put this in there. It's basically, when you tighten this in here, the threads make a connection. You can put pipe dope on it, but when you screw this down tight, the threads make contact with the steel in the tank. Okay, so basically they're electrically connected. This rod will take any corrosion up until the point where the rod is corroded beyond, a useful life. It's imperative that you change these rods frequently. Got a new tank, after 1 year, change the anode and see what it looks like. And if it looked okay, you figure you might get by with 2 years, then change this every 2 years after that. And if at 2 years you think it's still good, maybe just switch to 3. But eventually you'll figure out at what interval you should change the anode. You want to basically get in there and change the anode before it's all eaten away, okay? And where it's located inside the tank, you see this plug here. That's probably where they just injected the foam in between the case and the tank. It's under here, and there'll be foam here too. So we'll pry this off. So the first thing you're going to want to do if you go to change an anode is you're going to want to turn off the power at the breaker. Make sure that your power is completely turned off. Turn off the water feeding the hot water tank. And if that means turning off the water to the house for a little bit, turn off all the water. Or if you've got a valve that just isolates the tank, do that, isolate the tank. Then what you do is you hook a garden hose down here and drain the hot water tank outdoors, okay? Or into a floor drain in the basement or wherever you normally drain your hot water tank. Outdoors is fine. Okay, and once that's done, you pop this little plastic cover up here. Okay, we'll get that plug out of there. All right. Now we dig down through this foam here. We can tell that this tank I'm putting in is a few years old, and you can tell that they haven't changed the anode in it. So let's just dig down in here, go through that foam. Okay, there, I've cut through the foam and see I've exposed the hex on the anode down in there. It's quite deep actually. There's about 2 inches of foam insulation above it. Okay, just take your time, clean out all that foam. You don't want that little pieces going down inside the tank. Won't do you any good. Yeah, you just don't want any of that foam to go through the system. It may clog a tap or something, inside the house. So make sure you blow this out before you take that out. And they're usually quite tight, so you might have to hold on to the tank a bit to get a helper and turn that out of there. I've got it's an 1 1/8" socket. Put that down on there. Now, let's see. Now, I knew it was going to try and turn the tank. Okay, I just got it. To turn. I put a piece of bar through here like this. And I held it back against myself here. And I just got it to turn. And that was so tight. Like I say, they're not easy, but it's worthwhile putting the effort in to change them. Okay, here it comes. There it is. Wow. Yeah. Doesn't look too bad. Yeah, it's still working, but I'm going to change it anyway. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to cut this new one off at the length of the old one because I don't want the new one to bottom in the tank. you know, and I won't be able to tell when I'm screwing down the threads, you know, when it's tightening here. I want to make sure it's tightening in the threads and not screwing this to the bottom of the tank, you know. Okay. Okay, a little bit of pipe dope on this. Seal those threads. Like that. That's pretty good. Okay, now, despite the pipe thread on there, when we tighten this down, the steel from that nut is going to touch and make contact with the steel on the tank, and that's how you get the protection from this rod. It's an electrical connection, so to speak, that connects the two metals, and the less noble metal, being this aluminum rod, is going to corrode before the steel in the tank, and we can check that with a continuity tester in a minute, and I'll show you that. Okay, getting ready to put that in there. Down it goes. Okay. Okay. Now we'll tighten that down. Okay. Now you want it snug, but there's no need to go crazy like the way it was at the factory. Okay, I'm going to test for continuity between the cap and the tank and see if we got continuity. And we do. We could put it from the center of the cap to here. Okay. And these pipes are in direct contact with the tank, so we know that the anode, despite having sealant on the threads to keep the water from leaking out, has made an electrical connection, a direct metal-to-metal connection, in other words, with the steel of the tank. Okay, so I got some insulation here. Just going to stuff it down that hole. Okay. Because remember, we took all that foam out of there, and we don't want to just have a little chimney of heat coming off the tank. Okay, that's stuffed with insulation. Put our little rubber cap back in. Okay. Yeah, and we're good to the next change. So what I'm going to do is I always write on here the date, the year and the date that I changed the anode. Okay, and then I can know at a glance, you know, when it's getting close to the time to change it again. So I'm going to put anode, August 15, 2021. And that's how that's done. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.